If you're watching this alone, I want you to do something right now. Look behind you, seriously, because by the end of this story, you're going to wish you had. In 2019, a man named Daniel moved into an old apartment building on the edge of town. It wasn't much, but it was affordable. The building was quiet, aging, and filled with the usual sounds of settling pipes and creaking floors. At first, everything seemed normal, but after a few weeks, Daniel began noticing something strange. Every night at exactly 2:14 a.m., he would hear slow, heavy footsteps in the hallway outside his apartment. The footsteps always started from one end of the corridor and stopped directly outside his door. Then there would be complete silence for several minutes before the footsteps continued down the hallway and disappeared. At first, he assumed it was a neighbor, but after hearing it happen every night for over a month, curiosity got the better of him. One night, when the footsteps stopped outside his door, he quietly looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, yet he could still hear the footsteps standing directly outside. Disturbed, Daniel began recording the sounds on his phone. Night after night, the same thing happened. While reviewing one of the recordings, he noticed something he hadn't heard before. Beneath the footsteps was breathing. Slow, faint breathing, as if someone was standing right outside his apartment door. The discovery terrified him. He reported it to the landlord, who dismissed it as old building noises, but Daniel knew better. Determined to find an explanation, he decided to confront whatever was outside. One night, as the footsteps arrived at 2:14 a.m., he waited until they stopped, counted to 3, and suddenly threw open the door. The hallway was empty. No person, no movement, nothing at all. Then he looked down and saw a single wet footprint on the floor directly in front of his apartment. The next day, he installed a security camera facing the hallway. The following morning, he checked the footage. At exactly 2:14 a.m., the camera glitched for 7 seconds. When the image returned, there was a figure standing directly outside his door. The image was blurry and distorted, but the shape looked almost human. Almost. Its arms seemed unnaturally long, hanging below its knees, and its head tilted at an angle that shouldn't have been possible. Daniel zoomed in and immediately felt sick. The figure wasn't looking at his apartment door. It was staring directly into the camera, as if it knew it was being watched. Over the next several days, Daniel noticed something even more disturbing. Each night, after the camera glitched, the figure appeared slightly closer to the lens. It wasn't moving in real time. It was moving between recordings, frame by frame, night after night. It was approaching the camera. Terrified, Daniel packed a bag and left the apartment, planning to stay with a friend. He never returned. 3 days later, neighbors complained about a terrible smell coming from his unit, and police were called to investigate. When officers entered the apartment, they found it completely empty. Daniel was gone. His belongings were gone. The apartment looked as though nobody had lived there for months. The only thing left behind was his phone. On that phone, investigators discovered a voicemail that had arrived only hours earlier, 3 days after Daniel had vanished. They listened to it. At first, there was only static. Then came the familiar sound of slow, heavy footsteps. After several seconds, a terrified voice began speaking. It was Daniel, crying, begging, repeating the same sentence over and over. Don't let it stand outside your door. Then there was silence. Nearly 20 seconds of complete silence. Finally, another voice spoke. It didn't sound human. It sounded like several voices speaking at once from somewhere far away. The final words on the voicemail were chilling. It doesn't stand outside anymore. It stands inside. The phone battery died shortly afterward, and the voicemail was never successfully copied. The original recording was lost forever. The apartment was eventually rented out again. The new tenant lasted only 11 days before filing a complaint with the landlord. The complaint stated that every night at exactly 2:14 a.m., they could hear slow, heavy footsteps in the hallway. Footsteps that always stopped directly outside the bedroom door. So if you happen to wake up tonight around 2:14 a.m., don't check the hallway. Because if you hear breathing outside your door, you might not be the one being watched. And if this story kept you looking over your shoulder tonight, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more terrifying stories, disturbing mysteries, and unexplained encounters. Let me know in the comments what you would do if you heard those footsteps outside your door every night. Sleep well, stay safe, and remember, some stories end when the video ends, but others are eternal.